I love pizza. If you know me, you know that that is not an understatement. I grew up eating pizza every single Friday night from about high school pretty much until today. Actually, we're having pizza again this evening. I know how to make wood-fired pizza, almond crust pizza, sourdough pizza, all kinds of pizza. And we play with toppings and textures, and it's amazing. When I teach kids and I'm going for a theme, a lot of times I'll use pizza as a backdrop. The dough and the toppings and the love and care that we put into making sure that the dough does what it's supposed to do. And I'm often quoted saying, pizza is love. Because for me, it's a very emotional food. It's very much tied into some of my favorite memories. I was eating pizza at a pizza parlor when the game Tetris was released for the first time. Now, I know that makes me a little bit older than you, and I am okay with that. I'm completely confident in who I am as a person. But I want to talk about pizza in light of homeschooling, in light of teaching. Imagine that your 12-year-old son has this dream of owning a wood-fired pizzeria that is so good that he sells out of dough every single day. Oh, there's a pizzeria next to where we live. It's called Willie's Sourdough Pizza. And they make different style pizzas. Detroit style, Chicago style, New York style, all these different doughs. And some of the doughs take up to 5 days to ferment and be amazing before the pizza pies can be made. So obviously, if it takes 5 days to make dough, there are days that you go there and you can't get your favorite pizza because they ran out of the dough. So imagine your son. We'll call him Louis just because it's a funny name. Not a funny name, but it's a fun name to say. So Louis loves pizza. He's 12 and he's so excited because you have told him that this year he's going to learn all about pizza. So he comes ready, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, excited to your kitchen table. And you show him this cookbook. We're going to learn all about pizza eventually. But let's start at the beginning and let's talk about why we eat the foods that we eat. Or let's go through beverages and menus and entertainment. Can you feel Louis' excitement drain? In contrast, what if when Louis rushes to the table, you break out the pizza Bible? We're going to spend the whole year learning everything that there is to know about pizza. Oh, and we're going to taste all kinds of pizza. Can you feel the difference between a great cookbook, right? I've had this cookbook for decades, and I only use it for my hollandaise sauce, my husband's hollandaise sauce that we use for eggs Benedict on Thanksgiving and Christmas and special occasions. Every now and again, I'll look up one of my mom's best cookie recipes, which are also, some of them are hidden in this book. But other than that, this is not the cookbook that I go to. It would not have served me well to try to learn about pizza from this cookbook. Do you know where I learned about pizza? I learned about pizza at a Pampered Chef party a billion years ago, where one of our friends was hosting a Pampered Chef party and she was demonstrating pizza stones. And so she had a pizza dough recipe and taught us how to make pizza on stones. And of course, I still have the same stones and I still use them to use pizza most of the time. But I learned how to make pizza from somebody that knows how to make pizza and had specialized tools. And over the last few decades, I have honed my pizza skills to the point now that I can smell whether or not the dough is amazing. I can look at it and I can say, ooh, that's pretty dough. And sometimes when I touch it, I go, this is going to be amazing, because I know what the dough is supposed to feel like. When you approach homeschooling or teaching, you want to find resources that look like this. I am not saying you need to teach your kids how to make pizza, but I'm saying you want to meet their heart right where it beats faster, and then give them resources and materials that wet their whistle, inspire their creativity, and cause them to run faster to get to the learning than they ever would have before. This type of learning feels very different than this type of learning. In life, in schooling, this would be a textbook that has the child has no connection to this material. They're not invested. Is there pizza in this? I actually didn't even look before I made before I started this video. Is there a pizza dough recipe in here? I'm guessing there has to be, because I know that there's breads and things. So yes, there is a pizza recipe, but it's hidden in between pudding and some other thing that my kid's not interested in doing, versus this type of a resource, which hits Louis right in the bullseye, right in the middle of what it is he wants to do. I want you to look at the difference between this type of a textbook, this type of a resource for somebody that's super excited to learn something, versus this. First of all, just look at the inside cover. Don't you want to touch the dough? And it's colorful, and it has beautiful pictures, a description, and then a beautiful recipe. But I want you to see that this particular cookbook is not, this is how you make pizza. It's a story. When I entered the International Tournament of Champions in Lisi, Italy, along with Joe Carlucci, my World Pizza Champions team colleague, we got off to a rough start. With something like anything that your child wants to learn, and when you grab an excellent resource, I need you to understand something. This book qualifies as reading, as math, as science, as life skills, as time with you, connection. This type of a year-long study. Hey, this whole year, we're going to learn about one style of pizza a week or a month. We're going to read stories about it. We're going to research ingredients. We're going to play with different types of dough. We're going to play with different types of materials. Can you feel how Louis would be all in if you approach learning like that? Versus grabbing a great book, but not hitting him where his heart is beating faster. Before I end, please recognize that your children, my children, are being raised in this world. They have supercomputers in their hands or within arm's reach. That means any question that they have, they can find the answer to before you finish the question. Just happened to me in a tutor session yesterday. I mentioned something and the child I was working with had the answer at his fingertips before I finished my thought. And I thought, this child is quick. I'm going to have to be way more creative so that I'm inspiring him and not boring him. Did you hear me? I did not say I need to get him to sit still so that I can complete my thought. I said, I better be creative so that I can capture his attention and surprise him. Who's the one that needs to change? Me. Who's the one that needs to change if your child is bored? You. You gotta approach kids where they're interested. Here's why education is broken. Education, stereotypically, there are great teachers and great schools and great homeschoolers and great tutors and all the things. Most are broken. Can I hear an amen? Most of them are broken because they're still teaching a boring textbook from page 1 to page done disregarding what the kids are interested in just to get through the material. And that doesn't serve our kids well. It doesn't serve our kids well. You need to pay attention to what your kids are excited about and then find ways to tap into that excitement and keep them on their toes. Making sure that when you find what they're hungry for, like Louis is hungry for making pizza, even though Louis is a made-up character. If Louis is interested in making pizza, I'm going to wrap as much of my teaching around that as I possibly can. And I'm going to make him so excited to come to my kitchen table and to join me in the kitchen. We're going to watch pizza. We're going to listen to pizza. We're going to study chemistry of pizza. We're going to eat pizza. A lot of pizza. We're going to try different doughs and different toppings and different things. We're going to talk about what great dough feels like. We're going to touch all of the senses, the sight, the hearing, the smell, the feeling, and whatever the last one is that my brain just lost. All of the senses. And at the end of the year, he's going to know more about pizza than he did. And when we stumble on something that he needs to know, then we will go to the textbook to look it up. If we were looking for substitutions, if we were looking for measurements, if we were looking for alternative styles of mixing or rising dough, this would be an excellent resource. And I would use this to show him that, yes, there are other tools out there where we can get the information that we need. Does that make sense? Don't kill your kids, your students, your homeschoolers with textbooks. Instead, use the textbook as a resource to find information that you're missing, but really look for resources that hit your kids right smack in the middle of their beating fast heart. And you will have them. You can teach them anything once you hit them in the bullseye. Have fun.